Hey guys, what's going on? It's Ben here. I'm back again today doing another video, and the subject of today's video is going to be on the Los Angeles Lakers. They have had a tumultuous and chaotic and exciting and crazy and fun offseason, and today I'm here to talk about it. Specifically, some of the biggest moves. I'll talk a little bit about the Anthony Davis trade, but I'll talk a lot about their free agency signings. I'll talk about the Boogie Cousins signing, the fallout from the Kawhi Leonard misstep in that they did not get him. Instead, they had to sign basically a combination of DeMarcus Cousins, Danny Green, and then re-signing Rondo, JaVale McGee, and Kentavious Caldwell Pope. But that's what I'm going to be talking about in this video. And let's start off with talking about the one and only. First of all, quickly, Kawhi Leonard. So the Lakers had some things going on where they traded for Anthony Davis, basically their whole core, and I think that they had to do that because although Lonzo Ball is promising and has a bright future, and Brandon Ingram is promising and might have a bright future, same thing with Josh Hart, same thing with um, the number 4 pick. Really, in reality, I think that Anthony Davis is worth all of those guys, and you're essentially trading 4 quarters for $1, which I think is a good deal. If you look at what Anthony Davis was averaging last year, even in limited minutes, it was something like 25 points a game and like 12 rebounds. Let me look it up here real quick just so that we have it accurate and handy. Last year, he averaged 26 points a game, 12 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals, 2 blocks. He only played 33 minutes a game compared to his usual 36. Um, let's see here. He shot 52% from the field and 33% from three, so pretty decent averages for a dude that takes shots from all over the court and doesn't just play in the paint. So if you're above 50%, you're looking pretty good. So he is definitely looking pretty decent. Um, but yeah, so I think that's good that they got him. I don't think that they overpaid for him. I think it was just about what he is worth. So I like the combination of him being a guy who can score basically in every way possible. But then the main difference between him and say Bosh or him and Kevin Love, who are also very versatile scorers, Anthony Davis is like a guy who's capable of being like first team all defense in the NBA. That's something that this Lakers team could really use with not only I'm not gonna say LeBron is a bad defender. He just is a defender who doesn't really care, and most of the time you can't really motivate him to play well on defense. So I think it's good that they brought in Anthony Davis to shore up some of those defensive woes. Same thing with bringing JaVale McGee back, which I liked a lot. He's a good platoon center. Him and DeMarcus Cousins will be very good platoon centers. You can either go defense, rebounding, and shot blocking with JaVale McGee, or you can basically go all offense with DeMarcus Cousins. You've got options, so I think that's a good thing for this team. And they're looking good on that front as far as defense on the center end. So as far as the Kawhi Leonard stuff, Anthony Davis waived his trade, essentially a trade bonus where he could have gotten a $4 million additional dollars, but he waived that so that they could open up a max slot to get $32 million to sign Kawhi. Kawhi ultimately chose the Clippers and not the Lakers, so they didn't get him, of course, but I think that's fine. I think that this Lakers team would be better suited to be deep and to have lots of good role players rather than to just have 3 guys and be forced to start a guy like Jared Dudley or be forced to start a guy like Alex Caruso or something. Whereas the way that they did get it, where they got Danny Green, DeMarcus Cousins, Quinn Cook, KCP, Jared Dudley, um, Rajon Rondo, who else did they get? They got JaVale McGee back. They basically got a lot of the band back together from last year, who were the 1 year rentals, along with DeMarcus Cousins and Danny Green. So I think that they'll be just fine, and they will. Kawhi would be better than any player that they got, but I think I would rather have DeMarcus Cousins, Danny Green, Rondo, blah blah blah, rather than Kawhi Leonard and 4 dudes that belong in the G League. Now, that's not because Kawhi Leonard isn't worth it. He is, but he is an injury-prone guy, and what's to say he doesn't miss 40 games next year? Based on his track record, that wouldn't be surprising whatsoever. So I don't think it's a problem that they didn't pick him up and instead went for other guys. And you could come back and say, well, DeMarcus Cousins also has injury problems, but they also signed JaVale McGee, so it's not like they are relying on DeMarcus to play 36 minutes a night and give them 25 points a game. DeMarcus is going to be expected to play 26 minutes a night, give them 14 to 16 points. It's going to be like what the Warriors expect out of him, honestly. Like, yes, they want him to contribute, but he's not going to be a guy who's heavily relied upon, and if he's out, his presence won't be sorely missed, sort of thing. So they'll be fine without him. So yeah, let me talk about more specifically about signing him. I really like a death lineup that features DeMarcus Cousins in it as far as offensively, and then him and Danny Green are both great pickups to replace Kawhi. You could have essentially a lineup of down the stretch of games, LeBron at the point, Danny Green at the 2, Kuzma at the 3, Cousins at the 5, and Anthony Davis playing power forward. That is a phenomenal offensive unit. Defensively, they struggle a little bit more in that you have LeBron and Boogie who are basically not good defenders. You have Danny Green and AD who are good defenders, and then you have Kuzma who's just like average. So defensively, it's a mixed bag, but offensively, it's strictly phenomenal. But if you want a really good defensive lineup for this Lakers team, you'd probably go with like um, Rondo, KCP, Danny Green, Anthony Davis, and JaVale McGee. So it's not like they can't have that lineup out there, because if you throw that lineup out there, you basically have all dudes who are either above average or like pretty good defenders. So they can go a number of different ways. They are very deep actually now. And if here's what I heard somebody say, and I think it really rings true, and I think it definitely applies to this team. If every player on the Lakers plays up to their potential, like if JaVale McGee repeats what he did last year, if DeMarcus Cousins returns to more like averaging 19 and 11 on really good efficiency, if AD is the 28 and 13 that we have come to expect out of him, if LeBron is his typical 28, 8 and 8, if Rondo can be 11 and 8, if Quinn Cook can be 10 points on good efficiency, if Danny Green can shoot 40% from 3, if KCP can shoot 40% from 3, if Jared Dudley can shoot 40% from 3, if so many scenarios like that. But if all of those dudes can basically play to what they're able to do and what they have done in the past, they will be by far the best team in the NBA. And I heard that from somebody, and I agreed with it in that, KCP this last year and maybe even the year before a little bit, a lot of people were considering him to have played a little bit below what he's actually capable of. So if he turns it on, that team, he'll be a huge difference maker that none of us are even really thinking about. Same thing with like Rondo. If he plays to his best abilities, he will be a borderline all-star level player like he was when he was in Sacramento or like he was when he was in New Orleans. Yes, he was getting limited minutes in those spots, but he was an effective player. Definitely in New Orleans, he was getting limited time, but he was effective in the minutes that he was playing. So they just have this plethora of guys who sort of like have a wide range of how good or bad they can perform. But definitely, if you look at the best case scenario for this team, it's like by far and away the best team in the league. And the worst case scenario is like a 4 seed in the West, I would say, based on their depth right here. So I feel confident in them. Again, I really like that depth lineup of LeBron, Danny Green, Kyle Kuzma, Anthony Davis, and DeMarcus Cousins. I really think Kyle Kuzma is getting left out of all this talk about the Lakers. He probably, it's hard to say, but I could see him turning into the third option over DeMarcus Cousins pretty easily, depending on Cousins' conditioning and health. So don't sleep on him. He's going to be a big factor on this team. And the word just came out today, apparently. I didn't hear it, but I was told by a friend that, according to reports like from NBA.com and ESPN and stuff, the Lakers announced that LeBron is going to play point guard for this team. He's not going to play small forward, which will be really interesting in that. Now, yes, essentially in the past he has played point guard before and stuff, but now he will be playing like point guard, and that they're gonna probably the starting lineup for this team will, in my opinion, it will probably be JaVale McGee at the 5, Anthony Davis at the 4, probably Kuzma at the 3, Danny Green at the 2, and LeBron at the 1, and then off the bench you're gonna have Rajon Rondo, Quinn Cook, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, Jared Dudley, and DeMarcus Cousins, with DeMarcus Cousins basically being your sixth man who's going to platoon with JaVale McGee quite a bit. So they're definitely leaning into LeBron being much more of a Magic Johnson distributor type than him being a scoring option anymore. that'll be interesting too. I expect his averages to be, they could be again 27, 8, and 8, but I think he should strive for a Magic Johnson stat line of like 21, 9, and 11. That's really more what this team needs. Like if he were to average 21 points a game, 9 rebounds, and 11 assists, and if he shot like 55% from the field, that would be exactly what this team needs. Maybe a little bit more depending on how DeMarcus Cousins performs offensively, and same with Kuzma. But between Anthony Davis, Kuzma, and DeMarcus Cousins, he'll have plenty of dudes to pass it to, and this team will be just fine. So he could afford to focus more on rebounding and assisting and less on just having to score, and he could become a lot more efficient and basically Magic Johnson 2.0. Um, so all in all, this is going to be my wrap up here. I like the moves a lot. I think that yes, you missed out on Kawhi, who's arguably the best player in the game, but because you missed out on him, you actually get a lot better depth for this team, which already had star power and didn't necessarily need another star. So I like the moves. I like the offense that they can provide. I think they're not going to be as bad defensively as everyone thinks because they'll still have JaVale McGee, Rondo, KCP, Anthony Davis, and Danny Green, who are all above average to good defenders. So this team will be really good. I'll say probably top 3 seed, maybe 4 seed at the worst in the West if the adjustments take time to get used to each other. And that's all I got for today, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you have a good day, and I hope to see you next time. Bye.